Good morning. This is episode number 135 of Genius Take the Wheel. I am Dr. Evil Genius, coming to you live from the streets of New York City. And today I'm going to first give you the autopsy of today's training, and then we're going to get into what could be considered a somewhat controversial subject when we know that if you subscribe to believing observable reality, it really isn't very controversial at all. All right, so let's get to the autopsy real quick. Today, I assigned myself an extra repetition per set on the heavy leg press. And today, I took the same approach that I took on Saturday by having warm-up sets of 6 reps with no plates on the machine. And then 1 plate, 135, 2 plates, 225, 3 plates, 315, and then I skipped to 455. And at 455, I did add the extra repetition, which would put me at 28 total reps, 4 sets of 7. Now, I'm used to moving up 1 repetition per set every other day. So dialing it back to moving up once a week, I actually messed up on set 1 and did 6. And as soon as I racked the bar, I said, oh, wow, I was supposed to do 7. I quickly unracked the bar, did the 7th rep, didn't mess up on the next 3 sets. My legs felt very stable. I felt very much in control. I was able to slow down my eccentric phases of the motion. So warming up at lighter weights, I used to warm up at 225 at the start. Now I'm warming up at 45, then 135, then 225. Really just better preparing my quads, my knees, and my hips for the work that is to come. And it is serving me very, very well. And I noticed that when I prepare this way, it actually takes me less time to get through my 4 working sets than in the past. So you think, oh, doing more warm-up sets will take more time. But no, actually going the long way, doing things the right way, and not skipping steps actually is to your benefit. And you'll probably find that I had to change the audio here. You'll probably find that that jives very well with the theme of today's live stream. Moving on, actually I had to break up because somebody was on the leg press machine when I got there, so I did 2 sets of my working weight on the prone leg curl at 130 pounds. I did my 2 sets of 11. This is my first time doing 11 reps per set. I did the 2 reps when the leg press machine came free. I did my warm-up and working sets, and then I went back to the prone leg curl for the other 2 working sets. So 44 reps, which is plus 4 reps over what I've been doing for pretty much the last 4 or 5 weeks. Finally got that really good mind-hamstring connection. And adding the deadlift on Saturdays definitely aided in me being stronger and lasting longer in the leg curl. So that was really fun. I hit the hack squat today. I'm quickly realizing that
I really, really don't enjoy the hack squat, particularly on the first set. The first set on the hack squat is just, I don't know what it is. It just, I would rather be doing almost anything else in the world. But for whatever reason, after the first set, it just goes smoothly. It's very strange, but it makes me very hesitant to move up in total repetition. So I stayed with 4 sets of 10 at 225 today. And then when I hit the leg extension, I realized that I really didn't have the time and opportunity to just kind of wait until I can recover to do the last 2 sets. So I only did 2 sets of 11 at 170, but I'm not mad at it. I moved up in the other movements. Instead of 16 hard sets, I did 14. I'm trying to look at this pragmatically and not be late for work because now I got to rush to, make sure I'm not late for a client. So I'm happy with what I did. I did the working sets on the leg press in record time. That means that I was able to cut down my rest periods tremendously. I was in a good state of mind, although I was physically just, I just did not get enough sleep. Okay. I didn't get enough sleep. I thought that there was going to be some hanky panky. I got in the shower a little bit late, came out after midnight. The alarm was set for 10 a.m. It just wasn't going to work. Okay. So just like, you know what? I'll forego that. I need to hit this leg press in the morning and I can pursue pleasurable exploits later. That'll always be there, but I need to make sure that I have enough time and opportunity to get the work done. And had I gone to bed earlier, I would have definitely gotten all 16 leg sets today, but I failed at that. But I'm not really upset about that. Today I have some light rowing and some heavy biceps that I will do later. I am looking forward to that. And I am proud of the journey that I'm on, this long road to becoming the most swole that I've ever been, and really far exceeding the best physiques I've ever had while past the age of 40 with no TRT, no tremboloni sandwiches, no BS, just lots and lots of hard work, supportive women at home. And usually, if I get to bed at the time that I'm supposed to get to bed, it's all good. Okay, so that report actually does kind of tie in to what I want to talk to you guys about today. And that is weight loss being more fruitful and more appreciable when done the hard way. Chisha Zed is a pro-family. He's firmly in the male advocate space on YouTube, and very reasonable guy. Um, Very reasonable guy. I really like Chisha Zed. I joined um, his group, and I'll probably be sending him this link because I want him to know that I am responding directly to his video and kind of give my account of where I've been as far as my own uh, fitness goals and helping my ladies at home with their goals to get into the best shapes of their lives and how they have responded. So, in the video that Chisha was, there were a bunch of stories of women. He compiled a bunch of stories of women who basically did it the easy way, so to speak. They had the sleeve, the gastric bypass. We all know how popular Ozempic is, and basically people are out there looking for this magic pill that will make them look a certain way. And this is after the last 8 to 15 years of people trying to convince us that being overweight is attractive. When we've made it very clear, especially us men, we don't find overweight to be attractive. And so they've been on a real dastardly propaganda campaign to try to force men to be attracted to unattractive women. I'm just going to call it exactly what it is. So these women, some of them have boyfriends or husbands. Some of them actually married. And these women have been reported by these guys or self-reporting to have reacted with poor discipline after going from invisible to sought after. One woman's account was very telling. She said when she used to walk in a room, she developed an introverted personality because everywhere she went, she was pretty much invisible. Nobody said anything to her. Nobody really engaged with her. So she was like, well, nobody's talking to me. There's really no reason for me to be talking to them, which is reasonable. But after she took the easy way out, she went suddenly from being invisible to having so much attention that actually made her quite uncomfortable because she did not know what to do with it. And I will tell you that I've seen it happen to women who take the easy route. It's really not as rewarding for them because A, they didn't have to work for it, and B, the change is really stark. So there's a shock to the system psychologically. Now, these women, I think one of the women lost over 110 pounds. And after doing so, she started to sleep with her husband's best friend. Now imagine being the friend of a guy and everything is cool. You don't even notice that he has a wife, except that he talks about having a wife. When you go around them, you really don't think anything of her. And then over a relatively short period of time, the male instinct kicks in when her waist to hip ratio suddenly gets a lot closer to that 0.7 that we are genetically predisposed to being attracted to. And society wants to tell you that it doesn't matter that she is attractive or not. The more unattractive she is, the more attracted you should be to her. That's how society tries to play the game. But the reality is that men will always be attracted to attractive women. And it doesn't really matter who it is or how you got to know them or when you know them or how long you've known them. And so it is up to the women to understand that you've lost weight, yes, but it really is not something that you should really give into because a man's sexual attraction doesn't really mean a whole hell of a lot. You'll get the protein shot or the money shot at the end, but you're not really going to be the apple of his eye. It's just not going to happen. Sir Fernando, the Fondue King, says, good morning, Doc. Evo just got bored on trail running, tried out the new 60-pound vest, and it hurts so good. What a beautiful day. Yeah, today definitely hurt very good today. I definitely can relate to that. My confidence level is much, much higher after making some slight tweaks to my program. Good to see you, Sir Fernando. Okay. Let me tell you something, guys. I'm of the firm belief that the harder that you have to work for something, the more appreciative you'll be for it. There's a lot of people who get on Ozempic, they get skinny real quick, and then they get fat again. Now, some of that is just the actual normal dynamics of what happens when you lose weight at all costs. You lose lean body mass, your metabolism drops, you go back to your old habits, and then, yes, it was your old habits. You went back to the same calorie intake as before, but now your metabolism is slower, so now you're fatter, right? When people have to work long and hard, pause, for their blessings, they tend to be a little more appreciative of it. People that don't have as much tend to cherish what they have a little bit more. And I really do believe that to be the case for most people. And they show it all the time. Now, let me tell you something. As I pick up Mrs. Evil, who just wants to comment as she's walking to the car, she's trying to make me feel weird in some way. Oh, no, she's just responding to Sir Fernando. Okay, I thought she was trying to troll me by only commenting on the stream when she's about to hop in the car. So there's Mrs. Evil, right? Now, I'm glad that she's here for this part, as I am moderately jealous of the guy that's driving past me in the drop top Bentley. It kind of looks like the drop top Bentley actually looks like a convertible Mustang. It looks very much like a Mustang, but obviously I would much rather the Bentley than the Mustang because I am a shallow piece of garbage. Okay, so no disrespect to JD, he loves his Mustang. I am a bad snob. Fight me. Okay, so now I'm glad Mrs. Evil is here for this part of the program because I'm going to use her as an example. Mrs. Evil generally where she used to be, and I do think that it is worth noting. Um, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I really hate people that don't stop at the stop. And I had to jam on my brakes because he wanted to join traffic super slow on the highway at a stop sign and not stop. Stop at the stop sign, people. That's what it's there for. Anyway, so Mrs. Evil, probably a decade ago, let's just say, did not have a lot of energy, was not where she really wanted to be. Let's go! This light is only green for like 5 seconds. I'm the fourth guy in line, and I'm the one that has to honk the horn? Come on, people. Yes, I know you think you're really important. You're not. Come on, get out of the street. Let me get past this guy. Now, Mrs. Evil, did you... They probably can't hear you that well, so you're probably going to have to speak up a little bit. When you were a lot heavier than you were now, probably 30 or 35 pounds heavier, did you go and get gastric bypass or take a pill to lose weight? Okay. Mrs. Evil did not do that. And I'm not going to say that the way that she has gone about her body transformation as a legitimate endurance athlete, that she created an endurance athlete out of herself from scratch. And what I mean by that is she is an asthmatic. Technically, she's an asthmatic, and she's out there running 26.2 plus mile races. When was the last time you had an asthma attack?
Years ago.
Maybe a decade? Okay. So,
last time one threatened was I had a cold and then decided to run a very speedy race immediately after. That wasn't very smart.
Right. So for all you know, it could have been bronchitis.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, and of course, this is no shade to you. I'm actually bigging you up here. Yeah, of course. I believe that taking the path of least resistance more often than not leads down a path to ruin. The end of that road, you will not find a pot of gold. It will be fool's gold. Okay? When you actually have to work and toil for your transformation and actually have someone or have a support system that is driving you and pushing you to be better. When you go through those tough times together, those bonds tend to be stronger over time when you're more weathered together. When things come by easily, the value of it usually, not all the time, doesn't apply to everybody, but the value of it is usually lost because you didn't have to work for it, right? You hear about lottery winners. Lottery winners very often go broke. Why? Because they've never had that kind of money and it came easy. It's a little bit different when you had to toil for decades. As much as I think that Jeff Bezos is a lizard in a human skin suit, Jeff Bezos had to toil for decades selling paperback books on the internet to then become one of the richest men in the world. Notice as he hasn't gone broke yet, right? Elon Musk did come from privilege, but he used his own ideas to become the richest man in the world. He makes a lot of poor decisions, obviously, because, you know, he didn't really grow a real personality and women came to him easily. So he's got babies scattered all over the place with no real connection to any of them. For him, he went from really being repulsive to being the richest man in the world and now having all the sexual access. He didn't really work for. He didn't really work to build a personality, to have charisma, to actually connect to people on a real level that keeps them around for long periods of time. Catherine Anna Hauserman, how are you doing?
Sir Fernando said, that's awesome. I did the same, but I was bedridden for multiple surgeries and recovery for over a year. Now we grind every day. Endurance, athletics, saved my life.
All right. So, Sir Fernando also worked for his. And so, I want to make it clear to you guys that, again, this is not, one of these things where it applies to exactly everybody in every instance. This is what the trends tend to be for most people. You want to have the best chance at long-term success. It is basically going to go through the toughest routes. Mrs. Evil did not use Ozempic. Obviously, she did her transformation long before Ozempic was a thing, and Ozempic was not developed for weight loss. It was developed to help people lower their A1C to address the symptoms of diabetes and the associated difficulties that come with it. Okay, yeah, I'm actually making good time. I'm feeling pretty good. But when you have the gastric bypass, when you have the gastric sleeve, when you have liposuction, when you have BBLs and all the fake body parts that the women are engaged in and all this stuff, these are things that they did not have to work for, that they think are going to get them these instant results. And because there was no process attached to it, they don't really appreciate the changes for what they are. And it really doesn't give them enough time to adjust to their newfound changes and to really maintain the same character dynamic within their own souls. It doesn't really give them enough time for it. It's kind of like when people do the gastric sleeve and the gastric bypass, you'll see that they have the skin flaps of a flying squirrel. Why? The body was not meant to lose weight in such quick, such short time frames. So different parts of your body are not going to catch up. And a lot of times, people's minds don't catch up. And this,
She say Elon is also autistic, which might be one of his issues not keeping women around. He is also an ass, which does not apply to him.
well, again, both of those things could be well contributed to the fact that he has never had to build a personality to survive. Anything that he thought was worth putting his energy into that would benefit him, he's put the energy into it and he's been successful at it. So he does possess the abilities. He just has not seen the value in doing so. And so, that's really the big issue with him, I believe. And the thing is, you'll see that a lot of people have a lot of Elon's problems without being on the spectrum, and they share some of his privileged mindset. When you don't really have to work for stuff, you don't really develop what is necessary to be good at those things.
Superman was very true, laughing out loud, the flying squirrel with the skin flaps.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if your triceps are if the back of your arms, your triceps are looking like an overgrown labia, you probably lost weight too fast. And your organs are probably going to struggle to adapt to the changes. There's a whole lot that goes on. There is a cascade of effects that are there. And I don't think that your mind catches up either. So when you look at the medley of stories that Chisha Zed covered, the women, the common thread is that the women were really uncomfortable with the societal impacts of their aesthetic change. They really did not know what to do with it. And it really goes to show how much feminism and liberalism in this country has lied to everybody. Everybody, you're beautiful at every size, you're healthy at every size, and we all know it's bull. The women say, "Oh, I get so much attention at 400 pounds." No, no, you don't really know what attention is until you go from 400 pounds to 125. That's when you'll know what real attention is. And this is observable reality, folks. Okay? And the same thing for us guys. When I was skinny, I was invisible. I put on muscle, and, women are now uncomfortable around me for different reasons because I give them anxiety because they don't want to look at my physique. They don't want to look at it, but they can't help it. And this is not to big myself up. It's just that I noticed a difference. When I was younger and much less mature, I used to complain about the fact that I was invisible. And then I started doing stuff that would make me more visible. And now I'm more visible. Wow, what a novel concept. This guy is going to have to guy. You're gonna have to do something here. So I want you guys to know that it is absolutely possible to go the short way and have success in life. It is possible. But I believe that the way that we are built psychologically as human beings, I think that is less likely that you will actually be able to appreciate the fruits of your newfound social elevation. And if you take a little bit longer to get it and you work really hard at it and you remember all the times that you wanted to quit, all of those lessons that you learn when you go hard and you really try to better yourself the long way, the hard way, there are different things that will affect your character that non incidentally will help you deal with the transition uh, from what people call a glow up.
She says, no, it's not true. No, it is not true. I am 20 kilograms overweight, maybe 23 to 25. I am not beautiful. I know it too.
And you can feel it, right? And the thing is, you know that people are lying to you, and I suspect that society is lying because they want to bring the lowest common denominator down so they don't have to compete. They think that, hey, if nobody else is competing, then I don't have to compete either. And this whole beautiful at any size, but then they're on the internet talking about why are people using me as a garden tool, or why am I invisible, and where did all the good men go? And I'm 47 and married and ready to have children. And the men, where are all the men? Observable reality is telling you that what you bought, hook, line, and sinker, and what you're trying to sell to other women, it's BS. So on the men's side, it really is no different. You get these guys injecting synthol. They're not really proud. And I would go so far as to say that the guys who are on gear, they work very hard, but they didn't, they tried to take the shortcut to the gains to get the girls. Those guys aren't as proud as the guys that get those same amount of gains in a long period of time, that had to like tirelessly work for it. And one of the ways that is because most of the guys that are on gear are not like bragging to the world, look at how many anabolic steroids I'm taking. No, 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 no. They're not like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell everybody how many drugs I did to get these gains. No, we have this whole natty or not. Oh yeah, I'm natural. And then they're fake natural. Why? Because they know that there is virtue and there is value to having people believe that you did it the hard way, that you did it the long way, right? When I talk to women who have done surgeries, that have lost a lot of weight and have finally done the surgery, they can kind of hear in the inflection of my voice that I'm less impressed, because I'm always hoping that, you know, they're like those women that I see in the gym on a regular basis that are damn near 300 pounds, but they're with their trainer and they're there and they show up for every session. And you can tell that they are like really toiling really hard. Those are the people that get the admiration. The guy that is a self-made millionaire, he gets more respect than the one that just inherited it or found it on the floor. And we all know this, and we try to pretend like this principle is not valid. But it is, and we all know that it is. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that not only do we appreciate uh, the things that we have in this life that we earned, not only do we appreciate it more, but other people respect us more for it. And the kind of attention that we get, actually, the quality of the attention that we get changes when you actually work for whatever it is that you have, rather than it just being given to you, or you trying to cheat the system, right? Even the guys that cheat the system respect people that do things the hard way. They usually just act like they don't respect you. They act like they did it better than you. And then when you actually look long term, those are the people who you find out down the line that everything went to shit. I just talked to one of my clients yesterday about the current Olympics, and I was talking about performance enhancing drugs and why I believe less people care about the Olympics as time goes along. When you look at all of the experts on both the drug dealing side and on the athlete training side, more and more athletes are cheating at the Olympics. And people will be like, oh my God, they got a gold medal. And now people really don't care. It's not this super prestigious thing that it once was. unless your name is Simone Biles, because we know that she earned it in blood, sweat, and tears. We know she earned it. But there's a lot of questions for a lot of the other athletes of, did you actually do this, or did you have extra help? Did you take a shortcut? And we talked about Marion Jones and how she was America's darling, but you can tell when she won her gold medals, she wasn't like super duper happy, like she did the pretend cry with no tears and all of that. But she knew deep down inside that she was doping to get those results. She knew it. And then when you look down the line, she ends up in prison because she took a shortcut to win the gold medal. She also took shortcuts in her finances and committed all kinds of fraud and ended up in prison. People who take shortcuts usually are the people that you read articles about or watch videos about the rise and the fall. The people that toiled and did things the hard way and really grinded, took pride in how hard they had to work to make even the slightest bit of progress in their lives, you don't hear about the rise and fall. You just hear about how everybody loves them all the time. And you know, the habits that you form and the mindsets that you have and the appreciation that you have usually is only developed when you actually work for it and you actually feel the punishment that you go through in order to get there. The people that are just taking the shortcuts in life, there's no way that they can appreciate it because they don't have the full perspective of what it takes to actually get there and actually appreciate it. And I need you guys to understand that. When I go and I give you these Genius Take the Wheel live streams, I am dead fucking serious. I go through this whole everything that I go through because it holds me accountable. And then you guys get to see where I was and then where I'm going to end up. This is episode number 135. I want you guys to know that I think about what my physique is going to look like on this camera when I'm at episode 175, episode 225. You actually see my progress because when I come here and I bring you this live stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and I'm doing a shit ton of volume and punishing my legs, and then after my leg session that day, I go and I do an upper body session later. And then you guys kind of see my maturation process, and you see that as I get older, I look better. I have an appreciation of what it took to get here. And that's one of the reasons that I don't use gear. I love toiling. I love the ugliness of it. I love getting up and arguing with myself in the morning. Is today going to be the first day that I quit on myself? And the answer to this point has been no. There's just a certain gravity. There's a certain heaviness to my testicles that's there when I know that I have the option to go the easy route, to go the path of least resistance, but I chose not to. And my decision making is different. The women that I choose to entertain is also different. When I wasn't working as hard as I'm working right now, I used to consider overweight women for dating. Nowadays, I'm like, listen, if you're not fit, at least on the path to being on my level, I don't care if I find you naturally attractive, I'm swiping left, both on apps and in meet space. Because I know how hard it is to get to this level, and I don't take it lightly. And I also don't suffer people that just want all of the benefits but don't want to go through none of the struggle. And when you've gone through the struggle, you are going to be less tolerant of people's excuses and BS, most of all your own. Got to ask you this question. Do you find that you are more or less tolerant of people's excuses the harder you work, the more marathons you run, the more dieting you do, the more weight you lose? Are you more or less tolerant of people's excuses? One of the things you'll find that you're going to be less tolerant than of other people's excuses, but the greatest part is you're going to be less tolerant of your own excuses. You're going to want better for yourself and everybody around you. I cannot tell you how many people I've seen her on Zooms at work or around her coworkers at other places. Come run this obstacle course race with me. Come run this 5K. Come run this 10K. Come run this 15K. Come run this half marathon. Come run this marathon with me. Now she's a coach. Come train with me. I'm not going to charge you a lot of money. I'm going to write your program. I need you to commit for at least 8 weeks. Let's do it, do it, do it, do it. Before she put the effort in, she was, whatever. I'll just crochet. Not a big deal. Now she understands the value. And you will too if you don't go the path of least resistance. I'm telling you, it's a lie. The path of least resistance leads to ruin. Now let's get to these comments. Catherine Anna Hauserman said, oh wait, let's talk to Sir Fernando. Hey, Mrs. Evil, how you doing? Okay. Sir Fernando says, I'm getting brand new calluses on my hands from the snake grip pull-ups, and they hurt crazy good. I will talk to you more about calluses later, good sir, because I would hope that you don't get the bad kind of calluses. I did ask Mrs. Evil about the calluses on my hands. She didn't really seem to have a problem with them. So, that's okay. Catherine Anna Hauserman says, 47 to have children is already over, most likely. Menopause is creeping up or already in full swing. But I said that to highlight the pure delusion of these women. I'm 47 and I make $250,000 a year. I won't settle for a guy that's under 6'5" and makes 53% more money than I do. And he better just take me as I am. And it's not going to happen. Sir Fernando says the truth is doing things the right way is the hard way. You are correct, sir. As always, thanks for holding us accountable. You guys hold me accountable. Gottfried Wegemuller is here. What's up? He goes on to say, for me, it has the effect on how I see other people, but me is very uplifting the more I do. Absolutely. And Catherine says, does cleaning my apartment count as a workout? Absolutely. 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 All right. So I just wanted to kind of share those thoughts with you guys. I'm going to also be sharing this with Chisha Zed. If he does choose to respond in a DM to this, I would actually be pretty honored if he did so. But I just wanted to extrapolate on the mindset, the psychological portion of this. And again, I keep talking to you about your mindset because it's important. And of course, and as always, and believe me, it's applicable. If you believe yourself to be a strong person, you likely earn the right to believe that, and you're absolutely correct. I'll catch you on Thursday stream. Peace out.